Hey, and welcome to the Spelunky Daily for the 14th of September. And I am recording this audio in retrospect for a couple of reasons. The primary one of which is that no audio at all recorded for the video for the 14th. And it's mostly my fault. I decided that I wasn't going to do commentary live for that one. I'd come home after a long day. It was quite late. I had a headache, and I just kind of wanted to play Spelunky for fun. And it's fun doing commentaries and doing the dailies, but really what I wanted to do is just put some music on and play a game for a little while before bed. And it's not quite conducive to talking while I'm playing the game. And some of the runs I've done recently have just been kind of so frustrating that I just wanted to take the pressure off a little bit. And so I decided I would find a way to record Spelunky's in-game audio without commentary while still allowing me to listen to music at the same time, which wouldn't be picked up. The reason being that I didn't want YouTube to flag my account for copyright notifications if there's Prince albums playing in the background. And it turned out I just did that completely wrong, and it didn't record any audio whatsoever. And in future, if I ever want to do that, I really should just put music on a separate device from the computer I'm recording on. There was really no reason in retrospect that I couldn't have just used my iPhone or something to listen to music. But I've decided to upload this video anyway and record commentary after the fact in the way that Tom did recently, because it was quite a good run, and I finished level 1 with 9,700 gold and saving a Manzel, so that's a pretty good start. If you watched my video for the 13th, I encounter a shopkeeper, the first shopkeeper in that game, and decide to attack him, because that's the way I've been playing the game recently in practice modes. And I fail at that twice, because I do the daily twice for the 13th somehow, but I'm still tempted to try it here, because it works. It really does work, and that guy's got 2 bomb blocks, but I decided to just play it safe. I decided to just do sensible things, and there's a snake pit here, which means there's going to be a matic at the bottom of it, and I got enough. I got the 10,000 gold I needed in order to be able to buy a bomb box. So I'm fairly well stocked at this point. This is a good second level of the game in terms of things I'm encountering. I love the Matic so much, but most of the time when I play with it, I'm quite conservative in how I use it. I'll use it a little bit to help me get around obstacles, but mostly I only use it for gems, and even then, only gems that are 1 block away. I won't dig down in order to get a ruby, because I never know when the matic is going to break, and it always seems worth saving, so that you can get a maximum amount of money. But here I decided to be a little bit more loose with it, which is why I kind of mined through there 3-4 blocks in order to save a damsel, which technically I don't need since I've got 5 health. And the reason I'm decided to, just have fun with it, aside from that being kind of the goal for this whole playthrough, is just that I die so often before the matic has been used up. And so in that situation, it seems, you can't take it with you. It seems worth using it up beforehand. Especially when a lot of the time I die because of the matic. Like I die a lot in situations where there is a matic, a manzel, sometimes an idol or something like that, and I'm trying to cart every one of them towards the exit. Which you can do, but it takes up a great amount of time, and probably you're going to have to deal with the ghost. But just that kind of going back and forward across the same obstacles again and again increases the likelihood you're going to screw up one time and get hit by something. This is actually a pretty good seed today, though. You can, the length of my YouTube video is kind of a spoiler for how long I managed to stay alive. And I'm sure it's not the case, but I do kind of... It feels like daily challenges have better seeds more regularly than just regular adventure modes. Now, it's randomized, and I'm sure that's some sort of bias on my part, but that's how it feels. Like, we've had a couple of runs recently that had jetpacks really early on, and going back through the videos, that's kind of the case most of the time. Jetpacks turn up a lot in daily challenges when they don't ever seem to really turn up at all in practice modes. But I can't think of a good reason for why they would make daily challenges any easier than the rest of the game. It seems more likely that we've just been lucky, and that, sooner or later we're just going to have a terrible, terrible run. Today's was good, not because there were fabulous items everywhere, but mostly just that the levels were quite quiet. There were lots of areas, like here for instance. Yeah, that was satisfying to do at the time. Lots of areas like here, which there's just not that many enemies around. There's not that many spikes. There's no dart traps there. Although, having said that, I'm pretty sure I screw this up in a second. I completely misjudge how long it takes those guys to wake up. But I get a compass and I get the key, and the chest is right there. So I've got the Uja Eye, and I've got a damsel, which will take me back up to 6 health, and I've got my matic. So this is still going incredibly well at this point of the game. You can see me suddenly panic as soon as the ghost appears. I don't know why. I know how long it takes the ghost to come over, and even when it's there, if I've got ropes, you can kind of get around well enough to lead him on a merry chase and not let him catch you. But still, as soon as I hear the ghost, I think, right, it's time to go, and start jumping around like an idiot. That was super satisfying as well. I love using gems to kill things, especially in, like, I don't know, a single move like that. I thought about getting that idol there for a second, but I decided against it because there might be a shopkeeper later on in this level, and that would just completely change the game, Oh, and then that giant spider came down. At this point, I don't have sticky bombs, and so if I had seen him beforehand, I would have gone up there and attacked him on purpose. Excuse me. But because I didn't know he was there, it's not worth using the ropes to go back round and fight him, especially now that he's fallen off the ceiling. If he's on the ceiling, then they're normally quite easy to kill, but once they're on the ground and they're jumping around, it's much harder. As I found out, I think 2 days ago in my Spelunky daily. But yeah, with the golden idols, a lot of the time, like, there's always a risk that there's going to be a shopkeeper later in the level that it's going to kill. There's always a risk that the key and the chest for the Uja Eye are going to be later in the level, and that they're going to be destroyed. And if nothing else, it's just there's a risk involved. Oh, that was super satisfying. That was the best thing yet. There's always a risk that it's just going to destroy a bunch of valuable stuff later in the level. Things buried in rock that you could have got. But most of the time that doesn't stop me. Most of the time, well, not most of the time, but half the time I will go for a golden idol anyway, because they are worth a lot of money, and I really like money, and I find that more often than not you get lucky with them. Like, they'll dig more stuff out of the rock for you than they will actually destroy. Once we get onto the jungle levels, oh, that's so annoying. I swear I whipped at that bat, and Obviously I screwed it up. And something to do with the angle of attack on a whip and the angle of descent on a bat is just really hard to read. Because I swear if I go back and I frame by frame that, it it will be fine on a pixel by pixel level, but it feels like I should have hit it. Yeah, but jungle levels are kind of the most terrifying for me. Like, Ice World, although there's an abyss at the bottom, normally by that point you've got enough items to make it not easy to navigate, but you can just bypass a lot of the problems that you might normally have to deal with. Whereas jungle is as cramped as mine is. I screwed that up so bad and lost so much health. And then I lost another point of health. I'm down to 1 now. At this point I really should just go, but I really want that 1500 gold, and I'm worried that the entrance to the black market is somewhere over to the left, which I haven't really explored yet. But I do have a lot of bombs, and for once I remember that you can just, hey, how about I just solve this problem with bombs? But anyway, the jungle is the scariest world because it's got more threats than the main world has, but it is as cramped. In fact, more cramped when the areas it generates around the trees or those pools of water. And you combine that then with tiki traps and spikes and bats and spiders and snakes still, but then also those kind of cavemen savages and the man-eating plants and so forth. Okay, so what happened there was I ran out of hard drive space again, and Frap stopped recording, and again I didn't notice for 2 levels. So hooray, I found the black market. And it was in a really unusual place this time around. I'm pretty sure it was like 1 square away from the exit to the regular exit to a level. And I had that experience recently in a practice run, and I uncovered the exit to the black market, and it was just by the actual exit, and I ran around the entire level and collected more gold and got myself all prepared, and then I ran towards the exit and I went through the wrong one. I just went through the regular exit, and so although I had enough money to buy the Ankh, which I'm about to do now, I couldn't actually do it on that run. This time, that caused me to be much more cautious, so actually I didn't screw it up. I'm just checking at this point that there's no jetpack or anything, and then I'm going to buy, I buy a bomb box and the glue. Is that what I'm going to do? I don't need the compass, don't need, some ropes might be useful, but I go for the bomb box, and then I realise that I'm unlikely to meet another spider, so I buy the glue now. Normally I try to avoid buying that, because it's a thing which is normally pretty easy to get in the early worlds of the game. But I think the only giant spider I really saw was the one that I talked about a little while ago. And my monitor just went to sleep because I haven't moved the mouse in a while. That's an annoying feature. A couple of recent deaths have made me just kind of terrified of snails, because you can kill them, but their bubbles keep going. And then it's really easy to get hit by them. At this point, this monkey steals a tiny little bit of gold from me, and I decide to let him have it. I could go over there and get it, but he would hunt me again, and it's possible he would knock me out in the process. Or just, steal a bomb from me, at which point you're in a much hairier situation. He can have the money, I don't really need it anymore. Once you've got the Ankh, if you're trying to go for the City of Gold, which is what I'm doing here, it's not really it's useful to have money in order to buy bombs if they turn up, but at this point I've got 28, and there's no guarantee there will even be a shop, although there's one there, although it's selling a slave, so of no actual use. The ice levels, you kind of, like I said earlier, you can kind of bypass a lot of challenges, and then so it becomes about how much risk do you really want to take. Do you want to try and explore the whole level, and so that you can rescue a damsel, or do you just want to get to the exit as quickly as you can? And I decide, despite what I just said about not actually needing gold, I decide, hey, a chest, I'll go get that chest, and it almost ends terribly. But at this point I'm back up to 3 health, because although I went down to 1 earlier on the 2 levels that we missed because Frapp stopped recording, I must have saved a damsel on those levels, and that was a risky thing, but it paid off, because I freaking hate those little alien guys, and it's really important to kill them before they reach the ground, because the speed at which they move when they're on the ground, and the way that they jump and can even move between levels, makes them really hard to hit, and that just kind of made it easier for me to both kill it and get down. Now there's the Easter Island head. This is level 2 of World 3, and so this is the level at which I need to kill myself. And having watched other people's runs, I recently came to the conclusion that the Easter Island head must always be on 3-3, mostly from watching Anthony Birch's runs, and almost as soon as I decided that, I discovered it wasn't true at all. In fact, the Easter Island head seems to just as often be on 3-2. At this point I'm just trying to decide how I'm going to kill myself, and I can kind of be as reckless as I want. My matic's broken, but that's fine. It lasted me a good long while to get this long, especially given how much I was using it. And I decided to just be thrown to death by yetis, because that's always a good way to go. It also, although I had 3 health, it doesn't matter that I didn't find a damsel on that level, because, I go back up to 4 health anyway, because I die. At this point, I really should just be playing as safely as possible, because I don't need money, I don't really need damsels. I just need to get to the exit to increase the chances of reaching the City of Gold this time out. There's a little alien guy, but I'm not going to go near him. But I am going to rescue the damsel, because he just happened to be there, and the Aztec world, I still don't find it as hard as I do the jungle, but it does have some nasty things in it, and I can't remember what happens between now and then, but that 5th health point will turn out to be extremely valuable later. You can see I just ignored that damsel that was there. It was going to be too much effort to get to it, especially when I was surrounded by spaceships. I pretty much just go straight for the exit in that one. And we're on to the Aztec world. And I get kind of lucky here, like that guy gets hit by those spikes and so he teleports away. And then I'm looking for one of those Anubis guards, because those are the guys that have the staff that you need. And hey, look, it's one of those Anubis guards. All of a sudden, as soon as I enter the world, and I have sticky bombs, and it takes more than one, and I forgot that, and he's coming close, and before he can fire again with bolts that would almost certainly have killed me, I managed to blow him up and stay just out of the way of the ones that he was able to fire earlier. Now, I used to use this staff whenever I would get it, because it is super powerful and a super great way to kill everything. But Tom's kind of convinced me that it's just never worth doing, because it does occasionally destroy you. I'm terrified of that fire guy, and I'm terrified of having to jump over the lava pit. Like, it's not that far of a jump to make, but I'm just frightened. So I decided I'm going to go down here, and that everything will be okay. And I almost instantly start to regret that, because I'm just blowing through tons and tons of solid concrete. But I've had a bunch of practice runs recently where I've got the staff and then died within sight of the entrance to the City of Gold. And I've never actually got to the City of Gold in this version of the game. I did it eventually on the free version, long after Tom did. Um, so I'm pretty determined I want to get there today, and doing it on a daily for the first time would be pretty great as well. So I started off with 28 bombs. I'm now down to 17, which means I should be conserving them a little bit, but I would rather be alive and bombless than have lots of bombs but be dead. Basically, the exit is over there to the far left, frustratingly, and that was very close. That so easily that arrow could so easily have hit me. So I'm gonna bomb my way up here. In which case, hey, look, another fire guy in lava pit. But again, solve your problems with bombs. Use your bombs. Don't use words. Use your bombs. That's what I'll teach my children. So that level didn't... I survived it. I didn't lose a health point. It was pretty hairy. But I think I spent 15 bombs on that level. And I'm terrified of those things, because I think they kill you in one hit, or at least do 4 damage in one hit. And the way they spread is, although slower, kind of similar to that of a shotgun blast. I'm pretty sure that's fired, but I'm not going to take any risks. And there it is. And I panic, and there we go, I just took 4 health damage. Because, like an idiot, I sprinted towards the entrance to the City of Gold and took spikes directly to the face. But that's why I said that manzel I rescued earlier was really important, because without that 5th health point, hey, look at me jumping for joy. So, I've still got a bunch of bombs, and so I'm still going to play it safe, especially since everything I destroy drops gold. Drops lots and lots of lovely gold. So I'm just going to blow out the thwomps and blow out those tiki traps. And, of course, I get hit in the face by a rock, because rocks are my nemesis. So there we go. That's as much of the City of Gold as I've really seen in this version of the game.